Hello, hello. I want to first start off by saying I hope that you are safe and that you are well and that your family is safe and well, and that you just that y'all are doing okay with the winter storms. If you need anything, let me know. Prior to the winter storm, we started our new unit over area of composite figures. So on Thursday and Friday, you took notes, area of figures on Thursday and area of composite figures on Friday. I have extended the due dates on those, so please make sure you get those complete like today. Maybe even stop this video right now and go do those first so that you know what we're talking about. We're going to do this today, and then you have a review tomorrow, and then you have a test on Thursday over it. So it's super important that you get that done to be successful, as this is the last week of the 6 weeks. This is the last test grade that will go on to your report card. So we want to make sure that we are doing well on this. Passing, no retakes, because we're going to do so good. So it is, I feel confident about you taking a test on Thursday, because area of composite figures is just taking things that you learned in 6th grade and applying them to 7th grade with more than one shape. So we did like one square in 6th grade, and in 7th grade you're going to do a square and a triangle and add up the areas. Not a big deal. The only part of 7th grade that we're bringing into this is anytime you see a circle. So that is new to 7th grade. But anywho, so we're going to go through this. I'm going to tell you there are 10 problems. This is a 45-minute lesson. The video is obviously not going to be 45 minutes, but there are going to be times where you need to press pause, and I'm going to ask you to solve a problem. And then, yes, I will show you the way to solve it after you solved it on your own, but that concept of you pressing pause and then solving it on your own is super, super important. So don't just let it play out and then press pause and copy my work, because then you will have learned nothing, and then you will be unsuccessful because you didn't go through the lesson properly. Okay, so make sure you're pressing pause when I ask you to, and then there are several where I'll ask you to press pause, and I need you to solve that problem right then and there, but I might not necessarily go over the answer, and these are the ones that you are doing on your own. And that's built into the lesson. There is an answer document that you will submit with your answers, and then there is you need to submit your work. If we're at home, and so you don't have these copies, so if you don't have a printer access at home, that's fine. You need to do it on a piece of notebook paper. I suggest you pressing pause when we go to the next problem and drawing the picture. Let me say that again. If you are doing this on a piece of notebook paper, you need to press pause, draw the picture, and then continue with the work, okay? So 3 minutes of this video is me talking, sorry. So there will be 2 videos for this lesson, just because of that. YouTube will only let me upload like 13 minutes. So here we go. Area of composite figures practice. This is where we have learned that we need to know that multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. So here I like to use the formula area equals base times height divided by 2, more than using 1/2 base times height. Will you get the same answer? Yes, but the more I can work with no fractions, the better off I like it. So just be aware of that. And then that's the same thing right here. You're multiplying by 1/2, but that could be base 1 plus base 2 multiplied by your height divided by 2. Okay, so just be aware of that. Number 1. So this is what we would have learned if we had a week longer to practice. It really wouldn't have been a week, because you had that writing assignment and then you would have taken an interim test. But when you have shaded versus non-shaded, it's not letting me write right there. Non-shaded, it's asking what, and you don't have to write this part down, what is the area of the shaded? Okay, so that means that we are going to find both areas. So if we notice in figure 1, that's a circle, and then in figure 2, that's a rectangle. What's the area of the shaded? So that means that we're going to find shaded. So write this down. Shaded. Shaded is our second figure. Then we're going to do unshaded. That's our first figure. And then difference. So anytime it asks us to find, it's very rarely going to ask you to find, if never going to ask you to find the non-shaded. So basically this is like a hole. So let's say that this is a door and it's a circular window in the door. This would be finding out how much wood we need to make the door, how wide, how long. So I need to know the area of the shaded part, and that's my door. And then, of course, if you are putting in the window people would need to know what is the area of the circle that's going to be cut out of the wood for the window. So we're doing shaded. So for your shaded part, that's your rectangle. If I come over here and I look at my star chart, a rectangle is just area times base times height. So A equals base times height. So area equals, this is your base, this is your height, okay? So that would be 33 times 14. 33 times 14. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13, okay? And then 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we add these. 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. So your area of the shaded is 462 feet squared. So now we're going to find the area of the unshaded. The area of the unshaded is a circle. Show this, a rectangle and a circle. Area of a circle is area equals pi r squared. This goes from the middle to the edge. So this is the radius, okay? So area equals pi r squared. Area equals, we know what pi is. Pi is 3.14. Speaking of which, retest is this week for circles. So this is a perfect review of how to find area for a circle. Make sure you get those retests turned in as soon as possible. We're going to plug in r, which is 4 squared. Our first step right here is 4 squared. 4 squared does not mean 4 times 2. It means 4 times 4, which is 16. So here we have area equals 3.14 times 16. Okay, so 3.14 times 16. There's 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. And then 6 times 3 is 18. Then we have 1 times 4, which is 4. 1 times 1, which is 1. And 1 times 3, which is 3. We're going to add them up and get 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. And then 8 plus 2 is 10. And then 3 plus 2 is 5. Put it back in, and we get area equals 50.24 feet squared. Okay, so now we know the area of the rectangle. We know the area of the circle. We are going to take our rectangle and subtract our circle. Okay, so here we have 462 minus 50.24. Okay, we're going to plug in zeros right here. Okay, and then we have to borrow. That becomes a 10, that becomes a 9, and this becomes a 1. 10 minus 4 is 6, 9 minus 2 is 7, and then bring your decimal down. 1 minus 0 is 1, and 6 minus 5 is 1, and then we have a 4. So what is the area of the shaded? Shaded is area equals 411.76 feet squared. So see what I mean? It's not hard. It's just long. It takes time and effort. Okay. But we know how to find those two things and would be able to get our final area. So let's try this again. If you don't have all this down, please press pause, or if at any time I am moving too fast in a problem for you and you're still writing something down, press pause. You don't have to wait for me to tell you to press pause. Press pause, get the work done, maybe move a little ahead of yourself and see if when you press play, I'm doing the same thing, okay? And then, of course, always rewatch it if you do not understand. Okay, going to number 2. Again, we see shaded and unshaded. So we're going to find the area of shaded. Write that on your paper. Area of shaded question mark. Okay, so we have shaded and unshaded. So I always like to label my work. Shaded, which is the number 1 on my paper. Unshaded, which is the number 2 on my paper. And then we're going to find the difference. Our square minus our triangle. Okay, so shaded is the square, unshaded is the triangle. Okay, so now this is 6th grade math, y'all. All we're doing is finding area of a square. A square is the same thing as is a rectangle, and it is a parallelogram. So this is that. But we learned that it is super, super important. So this is something that whenever you get your star chart on your star test, add square. And we want to know the area of a square, equals S squared. Okay, so super, super, super important. Will you get the answer doing it this way? Yes, but remember I told you they ask questions specifically in the form of A equals S squared. So remember things that we do when we get our star chart. Changing this to dividing by 2, adding square. Okay, so area of a squared equals A equals S squared. So what is our side length? Our side length is 10. So area equals 10 squared. Area equals 10 times 10, which is 100 inches squared. Bam. That was easy, wasn't it? We just plugged in 10, and we all should know that 10 times 10 is 100. Okay, so let's go to unshaded, which is your triangle. Triangle is, let me grab my pen. Area equals, according to the triangle right here, 1 base times height divided by 2. If we see here is our base and here is our height. Okay, so area equals 4 times 4 divided by 2. Area equals 16 divided by 2, which is 8 inches squared. And then your difference, 100 minus 8. We should know what that is. 92 inches squared area. That one was pretty easy. Okay, we're going to pop over to the next video.